Hey there, future scientists. Have you ever peeked into a science lab and wondered what all that cool-looking stuff is actually for? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to dive right in and uncover the secrets of the lab. We'll be looking at the exact tools and skills you'll need for your grade 7 science journey. And yeah, this is all based on your official curriculum.
All right, so here's the game plan. We'll kick things off with our science mission for the day. Then we'll get into your scientist toolkit. After that, it's experiment time. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a quick summary and a question for you. Sound good? Let's jump in.
Okay, first things first. Every good scientist, every great explorer starts with a clear goal. You have to know what you're trying to achieve, right? So let's set our learning goal for today.
So here it is straight from the KICD curriculum. The goal is to be able to use and care for apparatus and instruments in the laboratory. Now that might sound simple, but it's actually a huge deal. It's not just about memorizing the names of things. It's about getting comfortable with the tools, handling them safely, and really respecting them. This is like step 1 on your path to becoming a real scientist.
All right, so what do you actually need in your scientist toolkit? You know, it's more than just beakers and burners. Before you even touch any of that cool equipment, it all starts with building a set of really important skills. These are skills that every single scientist needs, whether they're working in a lab right here in Nairobi or all the way over at NASA.
And here they are. Seriously, think of these as your scientific superpowers. Things like manipulative skills. That's just a fancy way of saying how you handle your tools. Then there's observation, which is way more than just seeing things, right? It's about really looking, noticing the small details that other people might miss. And all of these, from measuring to communicating, they're the absolute foundation of doing good science.
Okay, now think about this for a second. Imagine you're trying to follow a recipe, but your friend's cup is a totally different size from your cup. The whole thing would be a disaster, right? Well, science is kind of the same. It would be total chaos if everyone used different measurements. That's exactly why scientists all over the world decided, hey, let's agree on one standard system. This way, everyone is speaking the same language.
And this is that universal language. It's called the International System of Units, or just SI for short. You can see it's all built on these 7 basic quantities. I mean, you already know some of these for sure, like the meter for length and the kilogram for mass. Getting these down is like learning the basic alphabet of science. Once you know them, you can understand and share your work with anyone, anywhere in the world.
Okay, let's get to our first tool, the Light Microscope. This thing is amazing. It's basically a window into a hidden world that's all around us, a world that's just too small for our eyes to see on their own. Think about it, plant cells, tiny little creatures swimming in a drop of water. But it's also delicate, so rule number 1 for care, always, and I mean always, carry it with 2 hands, one on the arm and one supporting it from the bottom. Gotta keep it safe.
All right, next up, we've got the Bunsen Burner. Now this is the tool you'll use whenever an experiment needs some serious heat. Because it involves an open flame, safety is absolutely everything. So here's a super important habit to build. Before you even think about lighting it, you have to check the gas tube. You're looking for any cracks or damage. It's a simple check that takes 2 seconds, but it's what keeps you and everyone in the lab safe. No compromises on that one. So, we've talked about skills, we've talked about tools, but you know what? Science isn't a spectator sport. It's all about getting your hands dirty and actually doing things. So it is time for you to become the scientist. Let's get into your first measurement mission. Okay, this is something you can do right now. Seriously, just pause and give it a try. First, find something simple, like a book, a phone, or even just a pencil. Got it? Cool. Now grab a ruler and measure its length really carefully. Then, if you have a weighing scale, maybe a kitchen scale, find its mass. And here's the key part. When you write down your results, use the right SI units. So that's going to be meters for length and kilograms for mass. Give it a shot. Awesome work. See? You're already thinking and acting like a scientist. We have covered a ton of ground today, so let's just take a second to recap the big ideas we talked about. So, what are the key takeaways? Well, first, science is hands-on. It's all about skills like observing and measuring. Second, tools like microscopes and Bunsen burners are your best friends in the lab. Third, remember that common language we talked about? The SI system is how scientists everywhere communicate clearly. And finally, and this is the most important one, proper use and care of your tools is all about being safe and getting accurate results. You get these things down and you are well on your way. Okay, before we go, I've got one last question for you to chew on. It's a two-parter. First, what's the correct SI unit for measuring temperature? And for the second part, think bigger. Why does it matter so much that a scientist working in Kisumu uses the exact same system of measurement as a scientist in London or New York? Really think about that. All right, that's it for me today. Thanks for exploring the lab with me, and remember to always stay curious.